Ashtavakra Gita is said to be the greatest teaching that is available to mankind when it comes to non-duality. And the philosopher and the translator of this text, Thomas Byrom, once said, "When all the religious teachings come to an end, and when all philosophers have fallen silent, Ashtavakra begins." So he's saying when all the scriptures of all the religions, all the philosophies have said whatever they have to say about the nature of reality, the Ashtavakra then begins from there. This is the profundity of this text, and this is the significance of the knowledge of Ashtavakra Gita. And today we will be going deep and we will be looking at the three important verses from Ashtavakra Gita to understand the nature of reality as explained by Ashtavakra from three different levels. And this Ashtavakra Gita is a dialogue between the Guru Ashtavakra and the student Raja Janaka. The Advaita channel is about conscious living and conscious creation. Here we explore Vedanta and various spiritual teachings from India to explore the nature of reality and to consciously create our lives. And make sure to hit like and subscribe to our channel to help us spread this knowledge. Now let's talk about the level 1, which is the ocean and the boat. To this, first we need to refer to the verse 23 of chapter 2 of Ashtavakra Gita. And the translation of these verses goes like this. I am the infinite ocean. When thoughts spring up, the wind freshens and like waves, 1,000 worlds arise. But when the wind falls, the trader sinks with his boat. On the boundless ocean of my being, he founders, and all the worlds with him. This was verse 23 and 24. So here, Ashtavakra is using a metaphor to explain the nature of reality. For those of you who have been following our content on Advaita Vedanta, you might be able to understand this easily. But for those who are new to non-duality and Advaitic teachings, this might be a little difficult to comprehend. But what Ashtavakra is telling here is that he is comparing the pure consciousness or God to this infinite ocean. And he is saying that in me, which is that infinite ocean, the jiva, which is the boat, is sailing along. And the thoughts that come in the mind are like waves in the ocean. And it doesn't matter how many waves come and go, the ocean still remains same. And it doesn't matter how many boats come and go, the ocean still remains the same. This is what we need to understand. What we need to take away here is that there is no wave without the ocean. There is no boat without the ocean. There is nothing without the ocean. So, that pure consciousness is compared with the infinite ocean in this example. And as we know, as per the teachings of Advaita Vedanta, pure consciousness is the fundamental reality of this existence. Whatever happens, it happens in our consciousness. And whatever is happening in the world, it is happening in that infinite consciousness. And this consciousness, which is in and through everything, is that infinite ocean as described by Ashtavakra. Now let's come to the level 2 and understand how Ashtavakra talks about the nature of reality here. For this, we need to refer to the verse 23 of chapter 2 of Ashtavakra Gita. And the translation of this verse goes like this. When thoughts spring up, the wind freshens, and like waves, 1,000 worlds arise. So here, Ashtavakra is describing the thoughts that arise in our minds as the waves that arise in the ocean. So he is telling here that thoughts occur at the surface level and they are like the waves in the ocean. So it doesn't matter how many waves come and go, the ocean itself remains undisturbed and untouched. No matter how much of a big wave arises, the ocean itself will not grow in any way. And even if all the waves subside, the ocean will not lose anything. In this way, Ashtavakra is comparing the waves to the thoughts and the pure infinite ocean to that pure consciousness. With that, let's come to the level 3. And for this, we need to refer to verse 7 from chapter 15. And the translation of this verse goes like this. In you the world arise like waves in the sea. It is true you are awareness itself. So free yourself from the fever of the world. What Astavakra is telling here is that we are not in this universe, but the universe itself is within us. And this universe is us. There is no distinction between me and the universe, and this universe is within me. So, he is distinctly telling us that we are not the body and the mind. Instead, we are that infinite consciousness within which everything is happening. So, in the first section, in the metaphor of water with a boat, the water represents the boundless ocean and consciousness. And the boat symbolizes the individual living being navigating through the world just like a boat. And the metaphor illustrates that the idea of the individual represented by the boat is subject to movement and change within the vast expanse of the self, which is the consciousness. And in the second section, in the metaphor of water with waves represent a deeper level of understanding. Here the waves on the water symbolize the transient nature of living beings and the world. The waves arise, collide, play and disappear in the boundless ocean of the self, reflecting the impermanent and ever-changing nature of existence. And in section 3, which is the ocean alone, without any elements or attributes, this level signifies the ultimate realization of non-dual nature of reality, where the individual transcends the distinctions and fluctuations represented by the boat and waves and recognizes the fundamental unity of all things and in all things. So this is how we need to look at the nature of reality through Astavakra Gita. And Astavakra Gita we can understand through the theory of Ajatavada. Ajatavada tells us that there is no creation as such. There is no universe as such. There is only this pure, infinite ocean of consciousness. And what we perceive as the world is simply the perception of the mind. It is a movement that we experience because of our mind. In reality, that pure, infinite consciousness exists all by itself, and everything else is simply an appearance in it. And now I will read out a few verses from the heart of awareness, which is the translation of Astavakra Gita. And here I am reading from the second chapter, Awareness. Yesterday I lived bewildered, in illusion, but now I am awake, flawless and serene, beyond the world. From my light, the body and the world arise. So all things are mine or nothing is. Now I have given up the body and the world. I have a special gift. I see the infinite self. As a wave seething and foaming is only water, so all creation streaming out of the self is only the self. Consider a piece of cloth, it is only threads. So all creation, when you look closely, is only the self. Like the sugar in the juice of sugarcane, I am the sweetness in everything I have made. When the self is unknown, the world arises, not when it is known. But you mistake the rope for the snake. When you see the rope, the snake vanishes. My nature is light, nothing but light. When the world arises, I alone am shining. When the world arises in me, it is just an illusion. Water shimmering in the sun, the vein of silver and mother of pearl, a serpent in a strand of rope. From me the world streams out, and in me it dissolves. As a bracelet melts into gold, a pot crumbles into clay, a wave subsides into water. So this is the beautiful Astavakra Gita. And I strongly recommend you get the translation, The Heart of Awareness, and simply read it. This is a text of Nididhyasana. This is a text which we do not use to learn about Advaita Vedanta, but this is a text that we use to meditate upon Advaita Vedanta. This is the text that we use to go deeper into non-dual realization. And I strongly suggest you study this and use this to transform your life.